She took a slow breath, her voice trembling just slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of years unspoken. You didn't want a wife, Jordan. You wanted a mirror, something that reflected back the image of the man you wished you were. But mirrors only show what's put in front of them. Eventually, you stopped seeing me at all. You saw your success, your power, your name, and somewhere in the middle of that reflection, I disappeared. Jordan swallowed hard. His eyes darted around the room, landing on the remnants of the dinner table, the broken crystal glass, the crumpled napkin, the untouched food gone cold. The smell of roasted lamb and rosemary still lingered, but it mixed now with something metallic and sour. Shame. He took a hesitant step toward her. Rachel. I didn't mean. She held up a hand, stopping him cold. Don't you dare say you didn't mean it. You've been meaning it for years, Jordan. Every snide comment. Every time you dismissed my ideas in meetings. Every time you smiled at me in public and belittled me in private. Tonight was just the first time you were bold enough to make it physical. He closed his eyes, his voice barely above a whisper. I was angry. You embarrassed me in front of my family. Rachel's laugh was sharp, but not cruel. It was the laugh of a woman who had finally stopped pretending. Embarrassed you? She echoed. You spat on your wife, Jordan. At a dinner table. In front of people who carry our name, a name that wouldn't exist without me. Her words sliced clean through the silence that followed. He looked up at her, his lips parted, no sound coming out. He'd never seen her like this, not angry, not hysterical, just done. Rachel walked to the head of the table, the place where Jordan always sat, and calmly straightened the silverware. She looked up at the family portraits on the wall, their smiling faces at charity galas, ribbon cuttings, corporate events. To the world, they were perfect. But she knew better. Then she turned back to him. Do you know what's ironic, Jordan? She said softly. Every time you called me ungrateful, every time you accused me of not understanding business, I was the one signing the contracts that kept this company alive. 90% of it, under my name. You just never cared enough to look. He blinked, as if the words didn't compute. That can't be true, he muttered. The shares. I bought them quietly, she said. Every time you took money out for another car or a new golf membership, I reinvested. Every time you threw a tantrum at a board meeting, I built bridges behind you. I saved the company you were too proud to admit you were running into the ground. You were too busy playing the part of the man in charge to notice who was actually in control. Jordan's knees gave out, and he sank into a chair. Rachel, why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to believe in us, she said. I thought maybe if I worked hard enough, loved hard enough, you'd see that we could be partners, equals. But tonight proved what I should have known all along. You don't see partners, Jordan. You see possessions. He stared down at his hands. So what now? You're leaving me. Taking it all. Rachel looked at him for a long time, not with vengeance, not even with anger, but with a quiet finality that chilled him. I'm not taking anything that wasn't already mine, she said. As for leaving. I left a long time ago. I just didn't tell you yet. She turned, walked to the doorway, and paused. You know what's funny? The first time I saw you, I thought you were the most confident man I'd ever met. Now I realize it wasn't confidence. It was fear, dressed up in a suit. Jordan said nothing. The sound of the clock ticking filled the room, marking the end of something that had once looked like love but had rotted long ago. Rachel picked up her purse, straightened her shoulders, and walked out. The door clicked shut behind her, soft, decisive, like the last line of a chapter that would never be reopened. Weeks later. The story of the Whitakers spread fast, from boardrooms to business magazines. The woman everyone thought was just the CEO's wife was now the official head of Whitaker Technologies. Her first act. restructuring the company to ensure equal opportunity and leadership representation, something she'd quietly fought for years to implement. A reporter once asked her at a press conference, "Mrs. Whitaker, how does it feel to own what used to be your husband's company?" Rachel smiled gently, but her eyes held steel. "It was never his company," she said. "It was ours. He just forgot that ours included me." The room fell silent. Cameras flashed. That line would headline every business article for weeks. Months later, Rachel sat alone in her office, the city skyline glowing behind her. The walls were decorated not with awards, but with photos of her team, her staff, her community outreach programs. On her desk sat a single family photo, her and Jordan, from happier days. She studied it for a long moment, then placed it face down in a drawer. Her assistant knocked softly. "Ms. Whitaker, the board's ready for you." Rachel stood, adjusted her blazer, and smiled. "Let's build something that lasts this time." The office is quiet now, empty except for the soft hum of city lights beyond the glass walls. Papers are neatly stacked. The desk lamp casts a warm, amber glow across Rachel's face as she finishes signing the last document of the night. Her assistant pokes her head in. "Assistant, you should head home, Ms. Whitaker. It's almost midnight." Rachel smiles faintly. "I am home." The assistant nods, understanding. The door closes again, leaving Rachel in stillness. She takes off her wedding ring, the gold band that had once symbolized partnership, and places it beside the company seal. For a long moment, she just watches it lie there, lifeless and small. Then she slides it into the top drawer and locks it. Her phone buzzes. A message from Jordan. "I'm sorry. Please, can we talk? Just once." Rachel stares at the screen. Her eyes soften, but her thumb moves with calm certainty. There's nothing left to say. She sets the phone face down and exhales. Cut to EXT, Atlanta skyline, early morning. Golden light washes over the glass towers. News anchors' voices echo faintly over the city's pulse. Whitaker Technologies officially announces new initiative supporting women in leadership. Under Rachel Whitaker's direction, the company's stock value has doubled in 6 months. In cafes and cabs, people talk about her like she's a legend, a symbol of quiet strength and intelligence that couldn't be silenced. Int. Church Community Center, day. Children laugh and run through the halls of a newly renovated building. A large sign reads, "The Monroe Foundation for Women and Girls in Business." Rachel stands in the center of it all, smiling, relaxed for the first time in years. Volunteers are unpacking supplies, mentors greeting families. The walls are filled with photos of young women who've started businesses, earned scholarships, and found their voices. A local journalist approaches her with a camera crew. "Journalist, Mrs. Whitaker, why start a foundation instead of focusing solely on the company?" Rachel pauses, her eyes glinting. "Rachel, because power doesn't mean much if you keep it all to yourself. I want women, especially women of color, to know they can build something without asking permission. They can own their worth." The reporter smiles. "That's powerful." Rachel nods. "So is silence, when you use it to build instead of to hide." Cut to Int. Small apartment, same day. Jordan sits alone in a modest apartment. The once proud CEO looks older now. The walls are bare, save for a single framed newspaper clipping on the table, Rachel Whitaker, the woman who built an empire in silence. He stares at it for a long time, replaying memories of every dinner, every insult, every moment he mistook dominance for leadership. His reflection in the glass seems smaller than he remembers. He whispers, barely audible. She was the empire. Int. Whitaker headquarters, conference hall, night. Months later. A gala is in progress. The company's annual leadership award is about to be presented. Rachel stands at the podium, her speech prepared, confident, poised, radiant in a dark blue gown that commands respect without asking for it. Rachel, VO. When I was younger, my mother told me that silence can be power, if it comes from strength, not fear. For years, I mistook silence for patience. I thought if I stayed calm, if I proved my worth quietly, people would see it. But silence without recognition is erasure. So tonight, I speak. Not to be heard, but to remind others that their silence doesn't make them small. It makes them steady, until it's time to rise. Applause fills the hall. Cameras flash. Her board members rise to their feet. Rachel steps back, smiling with genuine warmth. She has rebuilt herself, not as a wife or a survivor, but as a leader. EXT Whitaker Building, later that night. Rachel exits the building, heels clicking softly against the pavement. The air is cool, crisp, full of promise. A car pulls up. Thomas, her trusted advisor and friend, leans out the window. Thomas, heading home, boss? Rachel, no, she says, looking up at the skyline. Heading forward. She gets in, and the car drives off, city lights reflecting on the windows like constellations. Montage, forward. Rachel cutting the ribbon at a women's entrepreneurship program. Young girls laughing as she mentors them. Corporate posters across the city with her quote. Never confuse silence with weakness. Rachel walking confidently through a crowd that parts in quiet respect. A single envelope arriving at her office, a donation from J. Whitaker, $10,000 for the foundation. She smiles faintly, but doesn't reply. Some lessons don't need words. Final scene, Rachel's home, night. Rachel sits on her porch, a cup of tea steaming in her hands. Her mother hums softly inside. The sky above is clear, peaceful. She opens her journal, the same one she used to build her empire in secret. A blank page. She writes slowly. Power is not about ownership. It's about understanding that what you build with integrity can never be taken, only revealed. She closes the book, smiles, and looks up at the stars. Rachel Whitaker's story isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. She didn't shout, she didn't fight for validation. She simply lived her truth until the world had no choice but to see it. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing a woman can do, is finally stop asking to be seen, and start shining on her own.